Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So our next video is from Freedom Frontline, and it says Bill Maher, I don't know if I'm correct. Bill Maher begs rapper to vote Biden. What happened next will shock you. Let's check it out.
Why doesn't Bill Maher get it? Some people just aren't interested in the narrow partisan politicking that has come to characterize modern America, and I think his interaction with Killer Mike is enough reason why. The clip you're about to watch will tell you one thing above all else: Killer Mike isn't having it with being boxed into one political opinion, and it shows just how bigger he's thinking than someone like Bill Maher. But none of that is in a vacuum, because there's some recent incidents we need to explore that are the cause of this disconnect, so watch this clip before we get into it.
What are your feelings on the election coming up? I mean, Biden and Trump, are you as depressed about that as most people as a choice?
My feeling is pick your policy, not your person. Find out, this is not the Dallas Cowboys versus your favorite team. This is the policies that will affect our generations for the next 20, 30, 40 years to come. So close your eyes, listen to the policies that are being pushed, and pay attention even to the people who don't have a chance of winning, because they're going to say policies you may want to push. And I would say do that, but make it policy-based.
Can you blame him? I think Killer Mike understood exactly where the question was headed, but it's exactly that insistence on boxing people up into parties that's leading to the polarization you see today. Take, for example, two very simple studies. The political parties of the left and right in America have moved further away from each other in their respective positions, with their graphs diverging from the center over 3 decades. Seeing and extrapolating from that trend from 2014 and 2024, you can guess that it has probably increased, especially after the rise of Donald Trump in 2016. But then the second statistic is even more worrying, which reveals that 1 in 3 Americans don't even know who the governor of their state is. How is that good for this country's democratic credentials when hundreds of millions of people are fixated on the spectacle of national politics while their local communities only get the last crumbs of their attention? I think Killer Mike has long been trying to hammer this point home, especially with his media appearance.
Guys, I think Bill Maher is the type of person that is truly scary. Yeah, even though he sees everything getting worse, he will still rather pick the guy making it worse than the other guy just because he dislikes him. Like, I don't get it. Why is it like that? See, guys, people who are willing to let things burn down just in spite of somebody else, it's not somebody the whole world need. It's not somebody people need. It's not somebody people need, or it's not somebody that is worthy to be emulated. It's not worthy. Yeah.
A Democrat or a Republican, just for how limiting those labels quickly become. And I relate. In fact, I think that's exactly what we're seeing play out in our society that's generating the political polarization that you see today. There's an interesting psychological theory called the social identity theory that explains the endless human need to conform and belong to a group bigger than themselves. But more relevant to the context of the political arena, the theory also describes how people subconsciously adopt more of the same opinions as that group collective in order to feel like a more inherent part of it. Perhaps that's what the spectacle of national politics does. If you say you're conservative in economics, maybe you start calling yourself Republican, but then the group you suddenly find yourself in also holds other ideas on diverse topics, like being against abortion or being more isolationist on foreign policy. Gradually, people just don't feel like they need to go through the difficult process of thinking about those complex issues when they can just pick up and adopt one from their surroundings. And of course, it also works with the other end of the political spectrum. In that regard, I believe Killer Mike demonstrates much greater political depth than someone like Bill Maher, who, for some reason, can't stop pursuing the same surface-level question about which party or candidate Killer Mike supports.
This time, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I still like the policy that the old man had that I was supporting. I would encourage people to find who's supporting that policy and see what happens.
But you can't get yourself to say vote for Biden over Trump?
You want me to list it now? So now
I'm just saying that.
Can he get himself to apologize for the crime bill? Can he get himself to get his head out of his? say, black people, you are black regardless. I need you to tell me what I need to do. Can he pick a coalition of former people who are affected by drug laws, street gangs, recidivism and crime, and say, I need you as a board to advise me how to fix federal prisons? If he can do that, absolutely I can. So my challenge is out.
All right.
I have to say, it's not a good look for Bill Maher, and you know why? Around the same month as this conversation, Killer Mike had actually made an appearance on The View, and we saw the ladies over at the panel doing the same thing by constantly wanting an answer out of Mike for who he would support. Sonny Hostin and Alyssa Farah Griffin even went as far as outright questioning why he hadn't come out in support of Joe Biden, as if that was a given. Bill Maher shouldn't want to be compared to a show like The View. It's not a done deal that someone like Killer Mike would vote for Biden, nor does that mean that he'll swing to a character like Trump. All it means is that he's not willing to engage in a surface-level conversation that has proven to lead nowhere. It's worth mentioning, though, that Killer Mike has been voting Democratic in the past, with support for Bernie Sanders that was perhaps the one person on the Democrat side that resonated with what Killer Mike stood for. And it seems Joe Biden isn't that kind of person from the party. Mike has criticized the kind of identity politics that seems to have taken over the party, exemplified by the infamous "you ain't black" comment by Joe Biden that revealed the politics of racial identity that had been taking over much of the American political sphere. The difference was that while Killer Mike had found political refuge before in the Democratic Party, now he's just disillusioned with what all that even means. He's now comfortable in the center and just doesn't think it's worth it to stand on one side and fight the other. Maybe that's the sentiment that we first see in Killer Mike in this podcast appearance around a year ago.
Do you think that he has let down black people?
Who?
Biden.
Has he let down black people?
Well,
he might not let down black people. He ain't let down me. I knew what we was getting.
You knew you was getting?
Yeah, I knew what we was
Because
getting.
black. Do you think Trump did more for black community than what's that?
I would rather deal with the devil I know. I think that we've had some black Democrats that tried their best, but as a party, I think the Democratic Party could do much better by us. And I think that if the Democratic Party and their leadership does not do better by black people, I think what they're going to start to see is in pockets, black men in particular start to exit that party for other options.
That's why Killer Mike represents a brewing sentiment in the rest of America. The president or the vice president doesn't have that big of an impact on your own life as other things that are more proximal to you. That's your local society, the mayor, the municipality, the community, and most importantly, your own actions every day that ultimately affect your life. Curating that properly and making sure you give your input to your local political bodies will have a more immediate impact on your life than any president or national leader that is many layers removed from your life. Overall, that's a less exciting but more pragmatic approach to politics that someone like Bill Maher clearly hasn't graduated to. And that's why it's easy to understand why it would irk Killer Mike to constantly be asked the same question on someone that's not getting the hint. But I still think Killer Mike's calls for people to focus on the local more than the national are resonating with people, and that means he's playing a small role in the gradual political maturity of American citizens.
Wow. Guys, to me, just like this man and the rest of all the American citizens, they have the choice to vote whoever they want to and not who you want them to vote for. Guys, nobody should to tell you what to do. Nobody to force you to do what you don't want to do. Let your conscience be the judge of everything. Your conscience, your mind should tell you what you want to do. Is it Donald Trump you want to vote for or Joe Biden? Your mind, your soul, everything about you should tell you what you want, what you need for yourself, what you want for the society, what you feel will be the best for you and your family, your citizens, the best for your country, America, and the rest of them. Nobody should force you. Nobody should tell you, hey. Do what you know is best for you. Either you vote for Donald Trump or you vote for Joe Biden. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, watch, and subscribe to my channel. And have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.